Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
I'd like to share how the Srimad Bhagavatam has inspired me in my day to day life. Firstly, it helps me to see problems with a different perspective or a different lens. We all face stress at work, at home, or in our relationships. But Srimad Bhagavatam reminds me that I am not just this body, I am a spirit soul, and therefore life's ups and downs are temporary in nature. Remembering this and being aligned to this helps me to stay calmer and not get overwhelmed or carried away by the small difficulties that one encounters in a day to day life. Second, it guides me in terms of how I live my life. In the fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Rishabhadev instructs his sons and says that human life is not just meant for one's own sense enjoyment, which even animals like dogs and hogs have, but it is meant for living life in a way that it purifies one's heart and takes one closer towards perfection. This this instruction makes me think about the choices that I make every day in terms of how and where I spend my time, what I focus on, how I treat others in my interactions, what is my behavior, and it inspires me to live life more simply and to develop a service mentality rather than always chasing after more and more. Third, it brings a sense of joy and connection with the Supreme Lord Krishna. Even reading a little or hearing little about his pastimes, about his glories on a day to day basis lifts my heart and gives a happiness that material things cannot provide. In a way, it's like nourishing the soul or giving food to the soul when I am connecting with the Srimad Bhagavatam. Also, it creates a sense of gratitude towards Srila Prabhupada because it is he who made this timeless scripture accessible to all of us through his wonderful purports and commentary, okay, in a simple and easy to understand manner. And as his grand disciples, I think it's our responsibility to study his books regularly, to stay in touch with him through his teachings, and to keep the Bhagavatam alive on a day to day basis in our lives. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. For me, the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam has had a very, very deep impact because it reveals both the grandeur of creation and the intimate nature of devotion. On one side, it presents the vast cosmology, the process of creation, the divine purpose behind this universe, etc. Reading this gives me a sense of awe and humility, reminding me that, there is a higher purpose, life has a higher design, and everything is working under the supreme will of the Lord. At the same time, the third canto also brings out very personal examples of devotion, like Vidura's deep detachment, his sincere quest for truth, or Kapiladev's instructions to his mother Devahuti on the path of Bhakti Yoga. Most importantly, the third canto has shown me that devotion is not separate from life, but it is the essence of it. Whether it is through understanding the Lord's creation or learning from the struggles of exalted devotees or practicing Bhakti Yoga the way Kapila Dev instructed Mother Devahuti, I feel very encouraged to align my own life very closely with the remembrance of the Lord. And it also reminds me that all these temporary difficulties are just temporary. Therefore, it actually inspires me to look beyond these temporary difficulties and to pursue life with a steady spiritual progress. Apart from how Srimad Bhagavatam has impacted me in my life, I also feel that it gives me the confidence to share Krishna consciousness with others in my limited preaching endeavor. Sometimes people ask different questions, very difficult questions about life, suffering, creation, or purpose of life. And amazingly, Srimad Bhagavatam has answers for all of these questions. And I've realized that when we share from Srimad Bhagavatam, when we quote the shlokas from the Bhagavatam, people are convinced and they are touched more deeply because the words are not ours, they are Krishna's. Therefore, it's actually a very powerful tool for outreach. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So what amazes me the most about Srimad Bhagavatam? Three things. Firstly, how comprehensive and timeless it is. Today, when people bring up so many scientific theories as if it is new knowledge, the Srimad Bhagavatam has already explained all of it thousands of years ago. The structure of the universe, cycles of time, and creation itself. It shows us that Bhagavatam is not just some sort of mythology, but it is truly a manual of reality, which is perfectly relevant even today. Secondly, when we look at a lot of the stories, be it Ajamila in the 6th canto or many kings in the 9th canto, such as Pururava or Yayati, we see a very clear lesson. People chase after enjoyment, power, rituals, or renunciation, but ultimately they all realize that bhakti yoga or devotional service to Krishna is the true path. These stories therefore constantly reinforce that however high one rises or however far one wanders, the journey and the destination is both bhakti. And lastly, most beautiful of all, the Bhagavatam doesn't just make us have bhakti towards Krishna from a distance with awe and reverence. Rather, it invites us to build a very personal and sweet relationship and bond with him. For instance, in the Damodar Leela, Krishna allows himself to be bound simply by Mother Yashoda's love. With Arjuna, he takes on the role of a humble charioteer and a friend. And through all of these different rasas, we realize that every single act can become an offering of love. Just like we say a kitten feels safe in the mouth of a cat, although that same cat is feared by a mouse, we too feel completely safe and protected in the hands of Krishna, even though he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. One thing that really inspires me in the Bhagavatam is the teaching of the Navavida Bhakti, the 9 ways of serving Krishna. When we look at the great devotees in the Bhagavatam, each one transformed their life through one of these practices. Some became perfectly simple by hearing, others by chanting, others by remembering. This just shows that the Lord doesn't demand extremely complicated qualifications, just sincere devotion in whichever way we can offer it. A very powerful example for me is Prahlad Maharaj. Even though he was born in Asura family and his father was the mighty Hiranyakashipu, he was surrounded by constant opposition. His bhakti was expressed through smaranam, constant remembrance of the Lord. No matter what dangers he faced, he never forgot Lord Krishna. And in the end, the Lord took his half-man, half-lion form, Narsimdev, showing how he personally reciprocates with the bhakti of his devotee, however young or helpless. So when I reflect on Navavida Bhakti, it gives me confidence that no matter whatever our situation is, just like Prahlad, if we sincerely practice any one aspect, especially remembrance or smaranam, Krishna will protect us and make our devotion successful. Hare Krishna.